spy pack. He's like, I got a Luka. It was this like excitement, like great stuff. And that kind of morphed.
I'm pretty
Welcome
sure that
back, Luke. Oh no. Hello, Luka's Tigers and Bronze.
That's
Luka
it.
Nation. Oh my. Oh, we had Jeff Wilson on, and
see, it's all an act. Look at him.
People like his intro.
Look at him. Andrew is not this guy. He's not this guy. It's all a persona. He's creating this new. What's your hat say today, pal? Got a lot of comments about your hats. What's that say? Build your life resume. I like it, and it's a cool color also. This is good. We got a special one today. What episode are we up to today, pal?
617.
617. Woo. 617. Wow.
You guys are on it, man.
That's a biggie, man. 617.
You guys are crushing it.
I got to give our guests, before you introduce them, give them some credit today because they noticed the artwork you did on the wall behind you. That's a pencil sketch done by Andrew when he was 8 years old of a Ukrainian stallion. He did some artwork, and now he's doing this for some reason, which is totally not appropriate.
If you did that at 8, you should keep doing it. That's really quality.
He is a special dude. And the door behind him there, because he's home in his family home, that's actually a full Russian banya. He goes in there, he steams, he beats the shit out of people with birch leaves. He wears the weird hat. He looks like Peter Pan. It's like a whole thing he's got going on in the house in Philly there. Anyway, I'll shut up. Why don't you introduce these guys, Andrew?
Episode 617 of Luka's Tigers and Bronze. We have really special guests today. 2 guests, actually. They were recommended, spoken really highly of by a hobby friend. Someone I interact with a lot on Instagram, a lot on Facebook, someone I respect.
Are you talking about Laura Don Diego? You can't say you interact with her. You sending her weird DMs and her not responding does not count as someone you interact with in the hobby. That doesn't count. That's not who referred these guys, is it?
I can't believe you went there. That's absurd. That's absurd.
I didn't say stalker. You did.
I send the invisible messages, the ones that disappear. So there's no recourse.
The vanish mode. Yeah,
it's better.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, that works.
But that's not her. But I think these guys. Okay. Anyway, River and Greg Molinar. So you guys might know them, collectors. They also came up with a pretty cool tool. It's called Cardhedge, and we'll talk a little bit about it today. But it's an all-in-one price guide. Updates daily, tons of data. I think you guys go by every card is on there. So I want to bring these guys on because River, tech guy through and through, developer. He built this tool from the ground up. Brought in Greg, and Greg handles partnerships, biz dev, all that stuff. So I wanted to learn more about the tool. They come highly regarded. And maybe some of you guys out there who are looking for pricing tools, who are looking for better data. We just had the Card Ladder guys on, Chris, Josh, great guys. Here's another option, So without further ado, River, Greg, welcome to Luka's Tigers and Bronze. I appreciate you sharing your Monday afternoon with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having us on. Really appreciate you guys. Yeah.
You're the brainiac, right? You're the guy. You're the creator.
Why are you assuming that? You're making physical assumptions here? Oh, okay, good. I was like, does he look like a brainiac? Greg could be the brainiac.
It's kind of bulbous, but it's.
Is that what? That's messed up, Andrew. Just to assume that. I think you're right this time around, but it's messed up. Do you think Greg?
Yes.
Greg just does siding for a living? Is that what you think is going on? He clearly does a lot of stuff, not just siding. This is... Guys, you got to watch YouTube. Otherwise, that joke's not going to make any sense. So, anyway,
what's the origin story? How and when did you start Cardhedge?
Yeah. So, I think very similar to what you guys were doing. Just timing wise, the end of 2019, I started getting back into cards. I think it's it's an interesting time period because a lot of people were getting back into cards around that time. The market was scaling up really quickly. About, when COVID hit, there was more time on the, let's say, on the calendar to fill up. So I was looking around for tools really in the market, and like I had stumbled across a couple things that I thought were interesting, but I felt like they were doing it incorrectly. So I just, I went off and started building it. And yeah, so that's kind of how it started. I brought in another partner of ours, John, who's not on the call, and him and I started building out from a data perspective. I had built most of the technology at that point, at least the internal, the main guts of it, and then John really was helpful in bringing on some other people, including Greg, and just help us building out the team. And so yeah, it's kind of like that's really the start of it. Yeah.
Was it challenging to get? So the way I understood it, because a few people try to create data tools, Slabstock tried to create a data tool, and their big issue was API to eBay. How was that? How was that process for you?
Well, interesting. I mean, from a technology perspective, I think, there's some history there, obviously. I don't know if you know, but like eBay got really crazy around, I think everybody was trying to hit the API in pretty much all of the sports card world around June or something of 2020, and they just abruptly shut it off. So everybody just kind of, the people that didn't have an alternative solution to that sort of just disappeared, including Slabstocks and the people that had other options, including us, kept on going. So that's really where that started. And now we have very robust services that address, data acquisition, both from eBay and a lot of other locations. So, and that will just expand over time, from partnerships and so forth with these places that have a lot of liquidity, that we're, looking to partner with. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge though. I think for having a technical background is helpful in that regard. I think there were some people that maybe didn't have the technical chops to address some of the major, bigger concerns. It does take some technical expertise to get the data. So that's an issue, but my background is in data integration anyways, primarily. So it wasn't a major issue.
So either one of you, my question again, I think maybe is it Cardhedge? Cardhedger? Is it both?
It's Cardhedge.
Hedge.
Cardhedge. I think we've kind of rolled with the URL and some of the other social media with the R on the end. But yeah, it's absolutely it's Cardhedge.
Research managed track.
Okay. Yep. So I got to throw this out there, and River, if you let Greg answer, he can, or you can answer. It doesn't matter. I will leave it up to both of you guys, right? So your call. Greg looks good. Saying nothing too. It's fine. It adds to the show. It's fine. People come to me all the time, and I'm sure Andrew gets the same stuff. I'm not in his DMs, thank God. Man, he likes a different kind of woman than I do, so I don't want to see those pictures. But so in any event, my DMs are a little different than his, but I get DMs all the time from people who want to do a podcast. And they say, hey, Cage, you and Andrew, you got great chemistry, you got this. Me and my friend, I think we could do what you guys do. And my response to them is always, when Andrew and I started, there was no Andrew and I. There was no other podcast doing sports card stuff. There was nobody else out there doing this stuff. And, we've built up to be, thousands of people listen to us every day. And, my advice to you would be not to do what we do. It would be to do something for yourself.
No.
It would be to, create your own little lane, to, do something different. This way, we could tell our audience, hey, by the way, these guys are doing this. You know what I mean? And the same audience can be, enriched by both segments of what's going on here, right? And we're not fighting over the same people, especially because we kind of have a 2-year and 617 episode head start on you, of building up trust and that kind of stuff. And people seem to get that, right? People seem to understand what I'm saying. I always tell them, look, if you want to do what we do, if you think you're a comedic genius like Andrew, you think you watch the games like I do, then that's fine. You can do what we do. And dude, more power to you. I'll be on the show. Let's go for it, right? And, why did I just go on this little diatribe about what's in my DMs? unless I'm wrong, Card Ladder would seem to have a pretty darn big advantage in this space. They seem to be pretty integrated. They seem to have a pretty large, I don't want to call it first mover advantage, because for all I know, you guys actually started before them. But they seem to be Coke, right? And, there's Pepsi, there's CNC Cola, there's Shasta, there's White Rock, if you really want to go bargain basement, right? So if somebody came to me and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing like a data aggregation, something
What
for the
if I
hobby.
just go ahead and out you right here
Go ahead.
in the desert? Then there is no more Coke.
You out me in the desert? What are you outing me as? Are you making a
You don't know what that's from. You don't know what that's from.
That's from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
That's from Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's garbage. I've seen Breaking Bad a million times, and that's garbage. But anyway, you're going to out me in the desert, and then there's no more
Would you really want to live in a world without Coke?
No, Coke Zero is my stuff. So I thought you were making a joke about River being in Phoenix, but I didn't know what you were doing. Anyway, to get me back on point now, Card Ladder seems to have a pretty darn great advantage here. What is it about Cardhedge that's different? What is it about Cardhedge that you guys are creating something your own lane, or is there nothing? What is it that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for the lead in, because it's a great lead in. Yeah, absolutely. So I think, if you want to just talk about differentiators, primarily we're just from a data and architect perspective, completely different. We're going to have a library that is much deeper and much more curated from a card perspective. We gather every single price, and not just one or two grades across a single card. I don't know if you've taken a look at the tool, but completely different. Just the volume of data is exceptionally high, but that's really not the major differentiator. I think the major differentiator is that we're going to be tackling and are already tackling aspects of the tool of the market that they're just not even looking at. One, NFTs; two, alternative assets or cards and comics outside of sports. So those are the primary differentiators. But if
I
you
think
want to
it's
look
safe
at
to
just
say you won't get any competition from them in the NFT space. I don't
Yeah,
think they
yeah,
have any
exactly,
plans
right.
to move there.
Yeah, and I think they're very focused on what they're doing, and kudos to them, right? Our process is different. We're looking at providing data and analytics across every single grade of any card that we have in the system, and we're adding about 10,000 cards a month at the moment. And we're going to have very curated data, both from a customer and consumer basis and enterprise basis, to provide data analytics for enterprises. So one of the big spaces that I think people, well, at least we're looking and working highly in, is other organizations coming in that need data on our alternative assets and pricing. And so we're pushing heavily into that space as well from a technology perspective. So, and we have partners there. So yeah, there's a lot of differentiators. I think they, not to talk too much about the competition, love those guys. They're doing a great job. They're fantastic marketers. I think they're filling a very a niche in the sports card space. We will be across all of those, both sports cards, non-sports, TCG, comics, and potentially other things, including, we're covering all the majors where there's data available, all of the sports card or sports related NFT projects right now. We're about to add NFL All Day probably this week. We're adding the APIs in place. We've been covering Top Shots for a while. We have Topps MLB. We did a lot of work on the Fanatics baseball project, but none of the sales are public at the moment, unfortunately. So that's kind of waiting until they make that public.
How about Panini Digital?
Panini Digital is a completely walled garden. Again, you can't see any of the sales. So it's until they do that, it's not really a blockchain, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So there's some just limitations, right? Like Panini Digital you can't see what's really going on unless you go onto their platform, which doesn't make it very transparent, in my opinion. You can't really create correlations between other cards and other pieces of data within those markets. So yeah, again, not until they do that, which once they do, we'll be on it. Like we'll be picking that stuff up as soon as they make it available on a blockchain somewhere that's accessible and transparent. But a lot of the major projects are already doing that. So, my expectation is that sooner or later, those projects will come around to providing data in a transparent way.
Yeah, I think it's on what's it, Crypto Slam? I think they have the data on there. I mean, it sounds like you guys are taking,
but not
what
not itemized, Cage, right? I think it's only volume, like
probably
day-to-day volume.
Yeah, they don't have
River.
individual sales. Yeah, go ahead.
Every entrepreneur I know, they're a little crazy, first off, but second is they're scratch their own itch, right? Something kind of really ticked them off to create the product that they have, or the service. They want to fill a need. Usually the best entrepreneurs fill a need that they themselves had. What was it, that there were no data tools? Is it that most of the data tools out there were limited? Is it that the data tools covered only a very tiny subset? What really got you? Like, if you take it back to day one of Cardhedge, what kind of was this pain point of yours that was like, I need to do this?
Yeah, I think that the main pain point, I mean, keep in mind, this is probably before Card Ladder was around, Market Movers was around, and they were extraordinarily limited on data. And also the tool was, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but it was a little bit clumsy, like just in its initial incarnation. So they just, I'm a builder in any case. So, when you start to see problems in a space and you can solve that problem in a better way, then you start to address that problem. And that's how I started working through that, really. And I've been in the financial and commodities market, so I understand how markets work. And I think there was just a gap just from a knowledge perspective there, personally. So.
Do you interpret data as well? Why I ask is, I'll never forget the episode we had on. It was like, I would never think that this was the episode that would stick out, but it was KK Sports Cards. And this was a gentleman who gets to see thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of cards. And we asked him, we were like, KK, tell us something that we don't know. Help our audience. Every time we hop on here, why we've been able to build the audience we have is we don't make it about us, we make it about them. And we're like, give us something, And he said, Cage, do you remember this? Do you remember what he said?
The thing that I found most valuable was the gem mint number of Juan Soto chromes.
97%, 98, 96, something like that.
Or 94% of the Juan Soto chromes that was submitted to him came back tens.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
What data are you seeing? Whether that's like volume of sales and maybe card prices are starting to go back up. What data are you seeing that you could add value or maybe educate our audience with?
Yeah, I think the major one that always kind of blows my mind is the volume on NFTs. And I think it's partially due to the fact that there's zero barrier from doing a transaction. And this is where I think we're going to see a lot more of the market moving. And, obviously we deal with some of the enterprises on this side, but the NFT volume is just mind-blowing, extraordinarily high, right? And so I think that's crazy. I think you're going to start to see platforms.
Can you put a number to it? Just for the number of guys or girls that listen to the show?
Yeah, we capture 50,000 NFT prices a day. And which is pretty crazy just given the size of that market. That's two platforms. That's NFT, that's Top Shots and Tops, mostly Top Shots, to be honest. And we'll probably see, I expect to see similar type volume on NFL All Day. Probably around somewhere in the 50 to 60,000 sales per day. And if you think about one product that's doing that much volume, and if you look at the pricing that we collect on every other thing in the sports card market, plus some, we've started to add some non-sports, you're talking somewhere in the 500,000 a week. So you can just you look at the volume from a single product, compared that to all of the sports card market, is absolutely astonishing in my opinion. And what you're going to see what you're going to see. My opinion is that as you see more transition to digital marketplace, you're going to see like volumes will increase. It's always been a benefit to having pure digital marketplaces is that the barrier, shipping, logistics goes away, and you start to see higher volumes. And that's what a lot of these companies are looking to do in any case, because they can acquire dollars through transaction fees when there's more transactions. So, and all of the big marketplaces will start to go that direction in some level. Obviously, there will still be physical cards bought and sold, but you will see a huge amount of volume move into tokenized physical cards, potentially, or some other, digital representation of physical cards so that you can transact quicker. And of course, people are already doing this. It's not like, we all know there's PWC Marketplace. There's some other ones that didn't do too well. But I do definitely think you're going to see that space grow. There's massive new entrants that will be coming in that space. So,
I mean, it makes total sense for me. And I like that you stayed away from OpenSea NFTs and kind of stayed in that game of sports digital collectibles.
Yeah, I think it's a gap that, like, obviously the NFTs is sort of this wide thing, right? Like, if you go to OpenSea or you go to, Crypto Smash, like, they cover a lot of stuff. But if you want to consume it as a collector, it's slightly different. And so I think we sort of present the NFT space in a way that like an everyday collector would understand, versus somebody that's primarily focused just on NFTs across a more horizontal space. And so that's some of the benefit that we bring to that, to the NFT side, and also just having the ability as a collector to be able to have valuation both on your NFT collection as well as on your physical card collection. Nobody's really doing that now other than us. So, it's just a different aspect to it. And there's lots of people just doing pure NFTs, right? NFT pricing is not an absolutely new thing if we think, over a couple of years. So, but OpenSea, they're a marketplace too. So they do a lot of different stuff. I'm sure they're doing just fine. Obviously, they've had some issues of late, but
I'm curious, Cage. Did you see the news, Cage, that Disney might acquire Top Shot? Is that a rumor?
All rumor.
All speculation?
Disney might acquire Dapper, and it was like Disney might acquire, insert the name of project you feel like pumping this week, was the tweet that was going around for the last couple of days. I saw Cool Man's Universe. It didn't make a difference which one. I saw Vive, but that wouldn't work because, one, they already have a Disney license, and they also have license for DC, which, Disney wouldn't, that kind of, I don't call it a conflict, but sort of a conflict there. Look, those kind of rumors drive, they drive money into the space also. It wouldn't surprise me if Disney got into, the platform. Dapper, that wouldn't be what I would buy.
Well, I'm curious if you see the data, because we were early on Top Shot, and we did well. But, when you see the same pattern over and over again, it seems like there's no coming back from it. And it's oversupply, overproduction. Right? So you get to play around with NBA Top Shot data all the time. Are you seeing any reversal? You see those, like, red candle, and it just keeps dropping, like the Russian ruble.
Well, we saw the top, of NFT Top Shot, like, at least in the short term. But I think you think about all markets, right? You're going to have this, especially in a market like this where you have like a lot of overhype in any NFT type projects, and you get these like very quick bubbles, and then markets start to consolidate, and you may see a long period of consolidation. I don't really. If you think about it, if you look in the short term, like these all look really, you might think, oh, this is very bad. Like all the NFT space has been down like this week, right? Like everybody's like very scared, I guess. Like the fear meter is very high in the NFT space at the moment. But honestly, like I think what we're seeing is just, real markets playing out in a way that people don't expect. And the fact of the matter, this happens in other markets all the time, and you just gotta. It's one you can't control it, right? Like the reality is, markets are going to act the way they act, and then they'll eventually consolidate to a place where they're undervalued, and then they'll start to climb back. And I think you're going to see this both in. My guess is, and don't. It's not financial advice, but I think you will see consolidation in especially in the big NFT projects, like Top Shots, and you'll start to see a resurgence in some of those. Now, I mean, if you're going after high print run items, the likelihood that that's going to return to some massive number is relatively unlikely. But its supply and demand still holds. Like it's just like any other market. If you have too much of a certain thing and there's not enough demand, then those prices are going to stay low, right? So,
I love it. What do you collect? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, I collect lots of different things, but I have a bunch of comic books. I've been a big comic book collector for a long time. I am a fan of early 90s baseball, and some of the I say mid 90s maybe. And I'm not I like modern basketball, but that's more like speculation, I think. So that's my personal stuff. I have some vintage. It's really just lots of different things.
Comics on the platform. You mentioned that. Will comics be?
We are going to be adding. Yeah, not yet, but we definitely are adding comics. It's on our roadmap for this year, and we're gonna get it in. We just started adding all the pop culture, non-sports card stuff, and we're gonna build that out very quickly. And then comics are sort of the next up. And then just as we build out, as NFTs come online, we'll just add those in when they're available, basically. But we intend to have comics on the platform. And so, yeah, we really want to play across the breadth of all of the sort of alternative assets, when it comes to, at least on the collectible side.
So,
Greg, what do you collect?
Greg, what do you collect?
Dust.
No. I tend to try to stay with very specific players. I have a few comics. I'm not too heavy into comics. I started putting together the Batman series. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to finish that, but I'm very much into Batman. I always have been.
Greg
As far
reminds me of
as
Manny.
cards and players.
He does, right? We have a guy on our team. I was going to shout him out. I'm sorry to cut you off, Greg.
Good.
He's a Batman and DC over Marvel guy as well.
Oh, I'm not
Nice.
a DC over Marvel guy. I'm just a Batman guy. Yeah, no.
He just likes Batman.
I mean, by definition, you're a Batman over or DC over Marvel.
Oh, Batman holds a special place in people's hearts because he's an everyman. Can't fly. Doesn't have a superpower.
He's an everyman?
Yeah.
You just got deep pockets.
He's just rich.
Yeah.
Which you're going to be one day too. You're an everyman. So he's an everyman because there's no spider.
I've seen you karate chop a guy to death.
Yeah, all right. You could karate chop a guy to death too if you train long enough under Ra's al Ghul. I mean, come on now. You gotta
If
do
you
your
become
stuff.
a ninja, you can do a lot.
Yeah, man. But there's many ways to become a ninja. You can train like Bruce Wayne in many different schools of martial arts, or you can have ooze that's mutant and mutate you into a ninja turtle. See, now that could happen.
Good point.
To you,
I didn't know where you're going with that, but
But you didn't. That didn't happen.
You
to
could
Batman.
train like Chris Farley.
Yes.
Be a Beverly Hills ninja.
And become Haru, that great white ninja Haru. 100%. One of my favorite ninjas. Yeah. He trained trained Chris Rock.
Yeah,
Is that right?
He did.
That's very true.
So,
Andrew, it's going off the rails. Bring it back.
it's going off the rails.
Bring it
So
back.
first off, guys, we got a text during this episode, and I'm glad we did because I want to remind you guys. NCAA tournament bracket. So anyone that owns a Tiger we're doing a fun little giveaway. Shout out to you, Cage, but really shout out to our team. So anybody who owns a Tiger, we're doing an NCAA tournament bracket, and whoever's the winner, they get a free Origins box. Did I get
the
that
winner's
right?
getting an Origins box. Yes, this year's Origin just came out last week. Nice box of Origins.
Man, I gotta get me a Tiger then. I guess.
That's it.
We've been saying it, man. Day one, some people were skeptical. They're like, these
You guys are
they're
underselling this thing, right?
You guys on
It's
E?
like,
We're not selling it at all, to tell you the truth. It's it sells itself.
right? Okay.
It sells itself.
It's
No,
an
but-
open
So, what do you guys
Greg,
thoughts
it's on
on?
OpenSea.
I mean,
All right.
okay, good, yeah.
Lucas Tigers. Go ahead, River. I apologize.
I mean, what do you guys? I know you guys have a lot of opinions on the digital side. I mean, do you what's your? Are you bullish on digital trading cards, or Cage? You seem like you're kind of interested in this old metaverse digital side of things. Like, I try to pick your brain on what your thoughts are.
Which you wouldn't think, right? Because I'm an old fart, right? I mean,
I
My
mean,
Little
that's a
Orphan, I hear it's
stereotype, though,
good.
Cage. Come on, man.
So I'll
everybody's
tell
got-
you, man. It's there's a lot of good things about it. It really scratches the gambling itch. Was what got me into it from all the different digital stuff, right? It was basically whether it was Top Shot or the initial OpenSea, it had a very slot machine type feel. And I'll go back to when I was talking up Top Shot back in January of last year when I found it, thanks to Luka Nation, who asked me a question about it. I didn't know what it was. I went and researched it and then was like, like light bulb moment.
Right.
But when I had the light bulb moment, Series 1 was still out. There was enough supply to meet the minimal amount of demand. That demand had not exploded yet. And if you wanted to, you could go and buy a pack. Series 1 packs, I think, were $15 or something like that. And Series 2 packs were like $9 or, it was, and they were available. And when we started telling people about it, Series 1 packs were available. You paid $9 or $15, whatever it was for a pack, I forget. And you opened it up. And I remember I got a Steph Curry. Oh, Steph Curry is selling for $17 on the marketplace. I'm going to sell it, which now it's probably like $1,000, but whatever. And it was way more. I'm going to sell it for 17 and I'm going to use that and buy more packs. And it was just, okay, just buy a pack. You buy as many packs as you want. Just buy packs. And it was this cool, user interface, user experiences. Andrew likes to call it with his buzzwords. He's a very buzzwordy type of guy, right? And it's boom. Oh, a slot machine. Did I get 3 cherries? Did I get some bells, some bars? What do I got here? I got some fancy
So you're saying I don't have depth?
I didn't say anything about your depth. I mean, I don't know about your depth. I'll ask both. So no, but listen. So here's the deal, right? So that was fun. That was, I mean, I won't say it's gambling, but it was a gambling type of thing, right? It was all right. We hit the thing. You open the pack, and boom, 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 boom. Oh, I didn't do so well. Let me get some more, right? And I remember just selling and trading and buying more packs and just stocking it up and the whole deal. And say, oh look, and I remember we were on the phone. I'm on the phone with Andrew, and I'm like, just buy a pack. He's like, I got a Luka. It was this excitement, great stuff. And that kind of morphed, right? As the demand came in, it kind of morphed into they're dropping a pack. It's 2 a.m. A bunch of phone calls. Quick, get on there. It's 2 a.m. They're dropping a pack. There's packs. And, it's like, can I get it? Did I get lucky? Can I get in the queue? And then it was like, no matter what I did, I couldn't get a damn pack anyway because there was too many people. Jaren Jackson Jr. cards, which aren't rookies, moments, out of $39.99. That was the print count, I remember, from Series 1. Jaren Jackson Jr., which I was buying for $1. $1 in January. In March, they were selling for $300 and change. Right? At that point,
beautiful.
Right, you have to be like, there is something not right here. The amount of crazy demand that Spike cannot maintain. We started
Hedge
talking.
does a lot of his damage at night, and he bought I think it was 150 Kobe Whites at $2 to $3 each.
Yes, the Kobe Whites.
Yeah.
I was buying Kobe Whites for between $2 and $3. I bought 150 of them. I'm like, Kobe White's good. Like, a Series 1 is this, a Series 2 is this. Let me just buy a ton of these Kobe Whites. And then 2 weeks later, they were, I don't know, $17 or $22, and I was in them for $3 or $2. And I'm like, all right, well, it's time to sell Kobe White. I mean, it was just it was insane what was going on.
And this is where it gets good, though, for people listening. if you do that with regular sports cards, you have to still pay for shipping and you have to go.
Yeah.
Here you could sell them like that. You pay your whatever, what is it, 5% fee, 10% fee,
Yeah.
and you're in and out. You're in and out. You're in and out, and you get the money in your Dapper. You could put it into something else.
So to today,
Yeah.
am I bullish? Was your question? I would say the answer, if I have to just answer yes, no, maybe so, is no, and here's why.
And are you speaking specific to NBA Top Shots or
Top
just
Shot,
like digital NFT
all day
collectibles?
UFC Strike, Panini Digital. Am I bullish? The answer is no, and I'll tell you why. NFTs in general, I think there will be some version of NFTs that survive. A lot of the stuff we are buying and selling now will not, but here's why. Andrew and I will be successful at this because it's us doing it. And I believe you have to bet on the jockey more than the horse. River, I have no doubt that you will be successful. Greg, I got my questions about, but River, I think you're the jockey, man. I mean, it's fine, right? I'm just kidding, Greg. You'll be fine too. Just let River ride the horse. He should be the jockey. Anyway, the jockeys in some of the sports digital platforms now seem lost. And I almost want to give them a pass because the amount of volume, the growth that they got is something they could not have expected. And they didn't know what to do with it, right? But there had to have been a different way to harness what was going on than to make 60,000 of each of these moments. That is not a recipe for success no matter what you do. And what winds up happening is you went from having a small subset of people that were all profitable, all your greatest mouthpieces and your greatest advertisers. You had a couple of thousand people saying how great this was, how awesome it was, you name it. Then you had 10 times that many people come in, and they all bought this garbage that was mass-produced that will never have any value, right? And as loud as the first couple thousand were saying it was great, you now have 10 times that many people saying that this is trash, and they've all lost money. And you add to that the fact that it is almost like a rudderless ship over there. 1 week, it's we're going to continue to put out these digital stuff. We're going to add some real world utility. Another week, it's like a fantasy platform. It's we need you to do a challenge. The challenge is going to be who has the top 7 rebounders of today's game and who has the top 10 scorers of today's game and get in on a challenge. It becomes almost like it's almost like it grew and they don't know what they're doing now. They don't know where to drive. And it's not just Top Shot, right? So, but bullish, no, for that. The Panini Digital, they have a rabid user base as well, right? And that product they have something else going for them, and it's that they have a digital version numbered of a card that exists in the real world that people are already fans of. You know, whether it's kabooms or color blasts or just gold parallels of rookie cards. I mean, you just saw John Morant's, gold sell for $100-something thousand. I'm sure an Edwards or a LaMelo would sell for a ton of money. Edwards and LaMelo have rookie golds out of 10 on Panini Digital. It's the same exact card, numbered out of 10. And they go a step further and have cards like Color Blast that aren't numbered in the physical world, but are numbered here. But you know what the fun part is? Nobody knows about it. They haven't advertised it. They haven't put it out there. It's not on any games. It's not something that the average fan even knows or cares about.
Cage, it was what River said, right? It's not even really on the blockchain if it's a closed ecosystem.
And that's the biggest part, right? And keep in mind, River, you like the NFTs because it is frictionless or as close to frictionless as it's going to get, right? You talk about the volume of transactions that can be done as quickly as possible and done. Any digital platform that is reliant on PayPal cannot call itself frictionless and can't call itself a no backsies type of crypto thing, which is what people like in the digital world. And right now the Panini platform is still run on PayPal. And because of that, I have a ton.
Well, I mean,
but I don't use it. I don't buy and sell regularly. I just have it.
And we gift it. Yeah. We gift it to our users, to our Tiger holders.
So that's why I'm not bullish on either of those.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And honestly, what program or what platform is the one that are the ones that are going to succeed is really not really, I think, what's important necessarily. It's like the platforms that are developed well and marketed appropriately are going to be the winners. I think what the reality is that there will be platforms which are winners long term that are digital. And that's sort of like the way that I think about it. And that's the
I
way.
like it. It's like buying sealed packs. Right?
I'd
You can
also
bet on
say-
the entire quarterback class. You don't have to pick which one's going to win. You just know one of them will. I like it.
I'd also say
ahead, Greg.
for Top Shot and All Day, I don't own any Top Shot, but in their defense, it's still a very early business as far as like its own business, and they are in the NFT space. They're not in the sports card space, and the NFT space expects different things than the sports card space does. The NFT space very much is into the whole utility, the real life benefits. So to the point that you were making, how they like have the challenges and whatnot, I think that's more to play to the fact that they're in the NFT space as opposed to just like trying to figure out where they're going.
I gotcha. I mean,
yeah.
all day, right? They had an opportunity with that. They're in beta. I mean, it's a closed beta. And Tom
Right.
Brady's first moment, the
Yep.
first one, his debut moment, just a base
Yeah.
moment, his debut is out of 10,000.
Right, but I don't think that's a big issue. How many Luka rookies are there?
Well, you don't want to compare it to the ones that are the highest volume ones out there. That's the problem.
But I
Everybody
mean-
uses Luka and Zion and stuff like that. Those cards are jokes that people now make when you say that's a card you can't really invest in. We actually did a whole episode about how whether or not Prism base cards are even investable anymore. So if the closed beta Tom Brady debut is going to be compared to those cards, it's already being set up to fail.
I guess, I mean, respectfully, I think there's a lot more than 10,000 Tom Brady fans.
I'm sure you're right,
But
but not
but
that are going to
I
pay.
get your point. But if we 350, I get it. At the same time, though, I think they're trying to learn, like you said, to the point that you were making, as opposed to having like 60 or 70,000 of the moment. Now it's cut down to 10,000, right? So at least like you can see that they're trying to
And
see
Greg,
where they messed up.
I mean, UFC ones have. I mean, fighters I've never heard of, and I've been watching UFC forever, and they're out of like
Right.
30,000. I'm just crazy numbers right off the debut, which I understand why they would do it as a business, right? If they can sell them, if they got the packs, they're making a ton of money, and they're making money on that secondary, taking a fee on every one of those transactions. So I get it. Businesses are they're supposed to be making money.
Just Greg, to your point, you're absolutely right about utility in the sense that if you collect all the Dallas Mavericks, in your collection, do you get one regular season ticket for free or something like that? Adding that kind of stuff is super cool, and it's super early on, so you really don't know what in 3, 5, 10 years, if and when it survives, if they can do that.
So I have a question for you guys.
Shoot.
Because you just brought up, Cage, about the secondary sales.
Yep.
That is so when Fanatics takes everything over here in a bit, my gut says that we'll feel.
River, you may have to translate.
If for nothing else, because of the fact that they're missing out on all the secondary cards, right? So like to the Curry National Treasures card that you guys talked about at the very beginning, that gets sold on the secondary for however much. Panini sees nothing of that. Nothing. That could get sold 10, 20, 30 times, and the company making it doesn't get any of it, as opposed to making it in an NFT edition and being able to ever get secondary on those sales. And the people that are running Fanatic are extremely intelligent, extremely plugged into what's going on in the digital world and where this is all headed. And I think, I don't know, something just tells me that we'll see a lot more of it, and that it just makes sense business-wise for them to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you see Candy and these things they're going to want to control the secondary market, and there's a ton of money to be made there. And I completely agree. Like, you can do that with NFTs. You can't do that with physical cards as much, unless, at least you can't have complete control over it. So, yeah,
I think
that's where you're going to see where like Candy and NBA Top Shots and that sort of thing, or some other brand. like there's nothing to say something else will come out. Obviously, licensed products are important.
So
but
I'm going to throw an idea out there. Josh Luber has been on the show a couple times. I can't believe I'm going to give my free idea out. But I'll give it to Josh. He listens. But I'll give it's a free idea, right? I have the best ideas in the world. I don't care. I'm also very
all right,
modest.
let me get my pen. I got to write this down.
All right, you ready? So
Go.
I think there is a very big opportunity for Fanatics in the space, Greg. Not just because of what you said about the secondary, but because they're willing to kind of take a little bit of a gamble. They're willing to kind of, use this to their advantage, right? And, I think they realize that digital will be a part of what's coming, right? We've talked to Josh about this also, and he said they're a physical card company, and digital will be a part of what they have, what they do. It'll be part of their footprint, but they ultimately will be a physical card company. I would love, Fanatics take a fresh look at it. I would love for them to study what Damien Hirst did with his currency project for NFT. Take a look at this, guys, if you want. And basically, it's a 10,000 piece NFT. It's art. But art is in the eye of the beholder. Everybody thinks a different thing about art, but it's basically a whole bunch of very fun, colorful dots, right? It's a lot of, it reminds me of a little pointillism type of art, but it's all these color, you name it, dots all over the place. They made 10,000 of them. But here's where it got fun, right? The owner, and they're expensive. They're not cheap. The owner has to choose whether they want the NFT or a physical version of their art. Ultimately, a decision has to be made. You can't have both. You get one or the other. And I think that would be a cool concept going forward for a sports card company that has both digital. I mean, Panini could potentially do it. I mean, I've given Panini so many brilliant ideas and no one listens. Whatever it is, what it is. Panini. Anyway, but think about that, right? If you have a card that, who knows what it's going to be. It's let's just for the sake of the episode and for shits and laughs, we'll call it the Frism, right? It's going to be a Frism. That's my Fanatics Prism, right? It's Frism, right? It's a Frism numbered out of 100. And it's of whatever rookie there is from 2026, right? Bronny James, Frism out of 100. All right, you get to buy it on the reverse Dutch oven site that Fanatics had. Dutch auction. I said Dutch oven. I don't know. Okay. So anyway, you get to buy it there, but you got to make a decision within 6 months whether you're going to have them send you a digital version or you're going to send you a physical one or you keep a digital one on their platform, right? And now you're going to have maybe 20 digitals and 80 physical or some version of it. Maybe one becomes rarer, you name it. And it's a cool little, you got to make that decision. You got to make that play. You figure out which one you're going to keep. How does that impact the demand of it? How does that impact the supply and demand and the economics and then over time? It's just a cool thing that somebody like Fanatics can do if they're going to have both digital and physical. No one's really done it in the card space before.
There's a bit of game theory there too, right? Which you see with all of these kind of platforms. There's a bit of gamesmanship, burn the book tokens.
Yeah,
you get X. It makes people have to play that whole game theory in their head, and there's a part of the fun, the slots, and all that stuff.
Which is going to be less. Yeah, I mean,
there's so much that they can do with it, especially if they have athletes under exclusive rights, they can attach. If you have the out of 10 version, you can go to a private dinner. There's just so much, or a private sign. Or whatever they want.
You have 10 Trevor Lawrence cards. You could get all of the sticker autos that they didn't use.
I got an on-card Trevor Lawrence this week with you.
Yeah, it was a nice one. Ian pulls fire. Dude, no one's minted Tiger with the Fire Hands NFT.
I know.
When they do, that's
coming.
So by the way, people that are joining us, people that are new, for you guys. So OpenSea Lucas Tigers. All the art was created by Cage's daughter, 13-year-old daughter. So we keep
Very
it
cool
in the family.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
One of the tigers that you could mint is this tiger holding a fire, and it's a kind of a joke. But Cage's son Ian, he opens a box every Friday, and the dude pulls fire, and he pulled this Trevor Lawrence booklet on card auto this past Friday.
Wow,
very nice,
pretty cool. Little blonde-haired, blue-eyed tiger holding fire. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. No one's gotten one yet. We're We're almost 400 in.
Is it uber rare? Is it like it's like hard to get? Or
I think there are 50 of them out of the.
How
out of the
many's
row.
in the collection?
We made 10,000 just because at the time
Got
we
it.
built it, everybody
Yeah.
was doing 10,000. We didn't even
Mhm.
know that it was possible to do less at the time. We just said, all right,
right?
this is supposed to be 10,000. Thinking back, we probably would have done a little less, but but the goal was if they sold once a week, 50 weeks, we'd have Ian, open up a box, he'd pay for it, utility. We would buy the box. He would open it live for whoever it is who's holding the tiger, and he'd pull fire for him. So eventually, somebody's gonna get one of those. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome.
Sales are picking up.
You guys have enjoyed how is it working out? Like, do you guys like I know it's sort of it's both an experiment and at least I would think it is experiment and a fan, like it's a fan token, so they get benefits and everything. Like, are your fans liking it?
I'll tell you this:
you guys had feedback on it?
The best message we've gotten is this. Now, keep in mind, if we went back, it had to be a little more than a year now. I didn't even understand blockchain at all. We had an episode in January of last year before Top Shot, you name it, where people were trying to talk to me about Bitcoin, and I'm like, it's fake. It doesn't even exist. Now I have.
By the way, people ask me the other day, what's your favorite episode? The Bro Namath one right around January 2021 was hilarious.
I was such a crotchety old man, but it's amazing.
Trying to explain Bitcoin to Cage. Picture that. Yeah. And he was getting more and more mad.
Those conversations never go well on camera for the first time.
But what's funny about it though is
maybe it was funny. Like maybe it was amazing. Sorry, I didn't.
No, it's definitely. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. And what's funny about it is it took Top Shot for me to start to understand it. The blockchain behind the card, you name it, and then grow into OpenSea. But what's funny about it is, and I think the best reaction we've gotten from a lot of our members of our community is there are people in the hobby with an open mind. There are more people in the hobby with closed minds, right? And that's fine too. People like what they like, and that's great, right? There are many people who are closed-minded who have made a lot of money in the hobby, right? I call them Tom Brady fans, right? Because... No, anyway, anybody who invests
I just bought
Brady,
2 Tom Brady cards today.
Well, you're a little late to the party, Greg. You had to be buying them like 20 years ago, But
Greg's my dude. I buy on the hype.
But no,
he's back.
I joke, but I really don't. There are people who are like, I live in Boston, and I drink Sam Adams.
Exactly, that's me.
And I buy Tom Brady, and I'm a genius because I'm a millionaire because I bought Tom Brady. Screw you, Yankee fan. Anyway, point being, there are a lot of closed-minded people in the hobby who don't want to hear about NFTs, and I get that. And I'm perfectly. If that is you, please still listen to the show because I'm not going down an NFT path, right? I'm not. I promise. But my favorite comments are for the people. We have fans who listen, believe it or not, who are older than me, and that's old, right? And we have fans who are young. We have fans who buy cards. We have. People who are part of the community that have never bought an NFT before and didn't even think about it until we did this project, right? And I guess they knew they couldn't get too hurt, it wasn't a lot of money, and that we are here every damn day. This is not me take your money and disappear, right?
Oh, he's getting a call from a happy fan.
Yeah.
He gets calls sometimes, but... when you're back, you'll come back in. For me, it was really simple. So, we've all heard the version of this, like leave people better than you got them.
Yeah.
So when we started this project, a lot of people were skeptical. And I think up to today, if you kind of fast forward, I think 99.9% of our fans, of our holders would say we've left them better than we got them in the sense that the money they invested into us, they've already gotten that back and more in spades. And that to me, because I'm a 32-year-old entrepreneur, I understand how this world works, Lambos, all that stuff, rug pulls. I could easily run off, but I never wanted that to be about that. So that for me, Cage, I think you're back. You're fine.
I am. I'm back. Whew.
Yeah.
I got a phone call,
and
it was an emergency because the person texted me right after and said, "What position would you think the Mariners need the least?"
Our fans.
I'm not texting you back. I'm not going to text. So anyway, what I was saying, River, was Greg left. I scared Greg away, but was that people are willing to take a chance, right? People are willing to. They basically said, "All right, I don't know this, but I'd like to learn. And there's no better way for me to learn than with you guys, because I know if I have a question, if I mess something up along the way, I can reach out to Andrew during the process and he can hold my hand and walk through it, which he did dozens of times, from the steps of getting money into a MetaMask wallet, how to create that, into how to mint something, into where to store it, what's going on with it. You know, it became almost my first NFT, right? Which people like. And now a lot of people after doing that got into many more projects and became, much more fluent in the space and started collecting things. A lot of people said, you know what? I bought one, I bought two, I've now bought 4 of your tigers. I love you guys. I love your content. Thanks for doing what you do. This is my way of supporting you. And I got to learn a little bit also. Believe it or not, that's my favorite stuff. That, and if I'm allowed to be a little selfish, it was cool to do it with my daughter. It was cool to go through the project with Andrew, and we made the art together.
I'm sure you learned a lot too, right? Like,
yeah,
an interesting project to do in any case. So, I mean, it sounds good. I mean, you guys are making sure that you add, the whole part is add more value than you take, and if you guys are doing that, then I think you're going down the right path in that regard.
It sounds like we're working on stuff like this, like with technology platforms, right? Forming partnerships where you could use that connect wallet feature and giving anyone who owns our tigers access to your technology platform. I think that's such a win-win-win. That's value to our holders. That's value to the company because they instantly have a really active fan base and a really, really active user base. So we're working on more partnerships in perpetuity now.
Yeah,
River,
that's awesome.
Take us home. So 30 seconds, why should someone use Cardhedge?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to have access to a large, massive library of cards and super user-friendly features, as well as having the ability to value assets outside of just the sports card market, including NFTs and other things, I think that's really where our strong suit is and where we can provide value to our customer base. And we have tons of new features coming. We're going to have a mobile app shortly, a couple months. We're really close to finishing development out on that, which will really help, I think, some of our customers. So just adding tons of value in that regard is where we're going. And we're really focused on listening to what the market's telling us with respect to what needs to be added to the platform. And, we're going to go that direction. And we have a roadmap to, do a bunch of other stuff with respect to, adding depth to our, library and so forth. So
I love it. Listen, there's definitely room for it, right? So we'll be rooting for you. Check this stuff out, guys. And right now you can get on there and check all the data for free.
Yeah, absolutely. We have you don't even have to sign up. You can go in and check all the prices. Every single set, every single card we have is available. You have a limited amount of data, obviously. You can't add it to your collection unless you sign up. But, we have also a 7-day free trial. We're very open to people coming in, trying the, Cardhedge, Pro, I guess you'd call it, if you want to use it for a week and see if you like it. And some people are going to love it and some people, might want to go a different direction. Completely understand. So, but yeah, all the data is available for free on the site. And then again, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial.
So guys, this is what we'll do, right? We'll have an ask of Luka Nation. Take a look at it, right? It'll only take a couple minutes. Get on there, get on Cardhedge. And if you see something you like,
Hedger.
Right. I think they have both.
Do you really?
Cardhedge is the name of the company, but the website is cardhedge.com.
Cardhedger.com. Okay, so they have Cardhedger. So I looked for it before, and now all of a sudden I have a lot of landscaping companies coming up on my feed. So I don't know if I typed in Yard Hedger by mistake. I don't know what I did. But anyway, I guess it could be worse. So it's Cardhedger. It's Cardhedge. It's a lot of fun. Guys, the ask from us is go spend 5 minutes on it. And, we know our community. You'll find good stuff and you'll find bad. Reach out to the team. Let them know what you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let them know what you think is good. And they can pound that and, double down on it. Let them know what you think they're missing. Let them know, what they might be able to add to make it a more user-friendly and more valuable tool for you guys. I'm sure they're open to the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can always find us on social, Cardhedger, at Cardhedger, pretty much on every platform. So
Love you,
hit us
Luka
up there.
Cardhedge.
Nation.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Love you guys. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Pleasure's
You guys
all
are
ours.
awesome.
Thank you guys.
Greg.